Could there be an electric car that attracts attention not just because of its battery or range, but because of its overall design and the thinking behind it? Over the past few months, Honda has been getting a lot of attention for its new Honda 0 Series EV. The company says this is not just another electric car, but the beginning of a new chapter for its future. But the biggest question is, what makes it different from Honda's other cars? Honda says this series focuses on lightweight engineering, a new design, better software, and smart technology. At the same time, the company wants to build electric cars that are not only easy to drive, but also more practical for everyday use. However, many details will become clear only with time, so it is important to look at every claim carefully. In this video, we'll find out what the Honda 0 Series E5 is, what new technologies it may offer, how different it could be from other EIS, its possible price, range, and features, and whether it can give a new direction to Honda's electric future. Before we move ahead, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you never miss more informative videos like this. When Honda announced its 0 Series E5, people didn't just notice another new electric car. They also noticed that the company wanted to present its entire EV strategy in a new way. Honda had already been working on electric vehicles, but had introduced the 0 Series as a fresh beginning where the cars are being designed from the ground up with a dedicated electric platform in mind. In other words, instead of simply turning a petrol car into an EV, Honda is building the entire vehicle around electric driving from the very beginning. The goal of Honda's new EV strategy is not just to launch more electric cars. The company wants to build vehicles that are easy to drive, use energy more efficiently, and stay useful for a long time. With this idea, Honda also introduced a design philosophy called thin, lightwise. This means keeping the car as light as possible so there is less pressure on the battery. The design is meant to create more interior space while helping the car move through the air more efficiently. The wise part means the goal is not simply to add more features, but to use software and smart systems in a way that makes the driving experience smoother and easier. Today, the global auto industry is moving quickly toward electric vehicles. Tesla, BYD, Hyundai, Kia, and many other companies are introducing new EV models one after another. In this environment, Honda also wants to stay competitive. But the company's goal is not just to compete. It also wants to carry its reputation for reliable engineering, good quality, and long-lasting vehicles into the world of electric cars. Design and platform. The biggest highlight of the Honda 0 Series EV is not just its new look, but also the new engineering behind it. For this series, Honda is using a dedicated EV platform. This means the platform has been designed from the ground up specifically for electric vehicles. In the past, many companies built electric models on platforms originally made for petrol or diesel cars. But with a dedicated EV platform, the battery, motor, and other major components are planned from the beginning. This allows the design and interior space to be used more efficiently. Honda has also placed a strong focus on reducing the vehicle's weight in this series. A lighter car needs less energy to move, which helps make better use of the battery. In many situations, this can also have a positive effect on driving range. However, the actual performance will depend on the specific model and battery configuration. On this platform, the battery is placed under the floor in a low-floor battery layout. This keeps the car's center of gravity lower, which can improve balance and stability. It also makes it easier to create more cabin space because the battery does not take up a large separate area inside the vehicle. When it comes to design, Honda has given this series a very different look compared to many of its previous cars. The exterior has a cleaner and simpler appearance. The front section, smooth body lines, and shape are designed with airflow in mind to create a more aerodynamic design. The goal is not just to give the car a modern look, but also to reduce air resistance while driving, which can help improve energy efficiency. Inside, Honda has tried to create a more open and comfortable cabin. It may also feature large digital screens, software-based controls, and fewer physical buttons as part of a digital interior. This gives the cabin a cleaner and more modern feel. Honda wants this design to become the new identity of its future electric vehicles. That means many upcoming models could follow the same design language. In addition, if several vehicles are built on the same platform, manufacturing can become easier. production can be better organized, and long-term costs may also be easier to control. Battery range and charging technology. The battery is the most important part of any electric car because its range, charging speed, and overall daily experience all depend on it. With the Honda 0 Series E5, the company is not just focusing on using a bigger battery. Instead, its goal is to develop a battery and system that can deliver good performance over a long period and remain reliable for everyday use. Honda has not yet shared the full technical details of every model, but the company says the new series will focus on modern battery technology and better energy management. The goal is not just to claim more driving range, but to use the available battery power more efficiently. In simple terms, if the system is more efficient, the car can travel farther while using less energy. When it comes to range, it will vary depending on the model and battery pack. Some versions may be designed mainly for city driving, while others could be built for longer journeys. That is why looking only at the claimed range will not be enough. It will also be important to see how the car performs in real-world driving conditions. For charging, Honda is working on offering fast charging support. This can help charge the battery to a good level in less time during long trips. However, the actual charging time depends on several factors, such as the charger's power, the battery size, and weather conditions. So a small difference between the company's claimed figures and real-world experience is completely normal. Honda is also paying special attention to battery efficiency. This means making sure that as much of the battery's stored energy as possible is used to drive the car, while reducing unnecessary energy loss. This can help improve driving range and lower electricity consumption in the future. Battery life is just as important. Most buyers do not only look at the car's performance when it is new, but also want the battery to maintain stable performance for many years. That is why Honda is working on a stronger battery management system and better software controls to keep charging and discharging properly balanced. Another important part is thermal management. If the battery becomes too hot or too cold, its performance can be affected. That is why modern EVs use systems to keep the battery at the right temperature. This can have a positive effect on both battery performance and its overall lifespan. How important will software, AI, and smart features be? Today's electric cars are no longer just about the motor and battery. Software is becoming just as important. With the Honda 0 Series EV, the company is giving a lot of attention to software along with the hardware. That is why Honda is developing it as a software-defined vehicle, SDVI. This means many of the car's features can be controlled and improved through software, not just through physical hardware. One of the biggest advantages of this can be seen with OTA, over-the-air updates. In the past, improving a feature often meant visiting a service center. But with OTA updates, some software improvements, and new features can be delivered directly to the car through the internet. This saves time, and in many cases, keeps the car updated without taking it to a workshop. Honda is also working on an AI-based driving assistance system. The goal is not to make the car drive completely on its own, but to help the driver. For example, it can assist with keeping a safe distance in traffic, staying within the lane, or giving warnings in certain situations. These systems can improve safety, but the driver is always responsible for driving the vehicle. The digital cockpit is also part of this new approach. A large screen, digital instrument cluster, and a simple interface can make important information easier to view in one place. Navigation, media, and vehicle settings can also be controlled more easily than before. Honda is also focusing on connected car features. This means owners may be able to check vehicle information through a mobile app, monitor the battery status, view charging details, or control certain settings remotely. However, these features may vary depending on the market and the model. The company is also working on a personalized driving experience. If different family members drive the same car, seat positions, screen layouts, and other preferences can be saved in separate user profiles. This can reduce the need to adjust settings every time someone else drives. As cars become more connected to the internet, data security is becoming increasingly important. That is why Honda says it is also focusing on security while developing its software and digital systems, so both the vehicle and its data can be better protected. The real identity of any car is not just its features, but how it feels to drive. With the Honda Zero Series EI, the company is not focusing only on speed, but also on delivering a balanced and comfortable driving experience. One of the biggest advantages of an electric motor is that power is available almost instantly when you press the accelerator. This can make driving in city traffic feel easier and provide quick response during everyday situations like overtaking. Electric cars do not need gear changes, so their acceleration feels very smooth. There are fewer jerks and the car keeps moving forward in a steady way. For many people, especially during daily city driving, this makes the experience more comfortable. Honda has always been known for offering a balanced ride comfort in its vehicles. The expectation is that the Zero Series EV will also have suspension and steering tuned to make rough roads feel more comfortable, while keeping the car stable on highways. At the same time, Honda wants to maintain its own driving character. The company is not trying to build only a fast electric car. Instead, it wants to create a vehicle that gives the driver confidence and a sense of control. In other words, the goal is to achieve the right balance between performance and comfort. In terms of safety, the new EV is also expected to offer several ADU's advanced driver assistance systems features. These may include automatic emergency braking, lane monitoring, adaptive cruise control, and blind spot assistance. Their purpose is to support the driver, but safe driving is always the driver's responsibility. Honda is also paying special attention to crash safety. Since the battery is the most expensive part of an electric car, strong structures and safety standards are used to protect it. Honda is also trying to bring its long experience in vehicle safety into this new EV. The car is also expected to include regenerative braking. With this technology, some of the energy created while slowing down is sent back to the battery. This helps make better use of the battery and can provide a little extra driving range during normal use. How different could it be from Tesla, Hyundai, BYD, and other EVs? Whenever a new electric car enters the market, it is automatically compared with Tesla, BYD, Hyundai, and other major companies. The same will happen with the Honda Zero Series EV. But it is important to understand that every company has its own approach and strategy. So comparing cars based only on features is not always the right way. If we talk about Tesla, its biggest strengths are considered to be its software automation and charging network. Tesla has been working on software-defined vehicles and OTA updates for a long time. Honda is now moving in the same direction, but its focus does not seem to be only on adding new features. Instead, the company appears to be aiming for a reliable and well-balanced driving experience. Hyundai's latest EVs are known for their dedicated platform, 800-volt charging system, and fast charging capabilities. Honda is also developing a new EV platform, but the company is not only trying to increase charging speed, it is also working to balance design, cabin space, battery efficiency, and long-term reliability. BYD's biggest strength, on the other hand, is its battery technology and manufacturing. The company produces its own batteries and has a high level of control over its supply chain. That is one reason why it can offer EVs at competitive prices in many markets. Honda's approach is different. It is moving forward by focusing on its engineering experience, driving quality, and customers who trust the Honda brand. If we look at Toyota, the company focused mainly on hybrid technology for many years. Now both Honda and Toyota are gradually expanding their electric vehicle lineups. However, instead of rushing into the market, both companies are trying to introduce products that can remain reliable and durable over the long term. Honda's biggest strength has always been its reliability. In many countries, people know Honda cars for their low maintenance, good quality, and long-lasting performance. Now the company wants to bring that same trust to its new EV series. Today in the EV world, software is just as important as hardware. That is why Honda will need to continue improving not only its motors and batteries, but also its digital features, OTA updates, and smart systems. In the future, customers will not only look at how fast a car is, but also at how simple, secure, and useful its software is. When it comes to pricing, Honda is likely to offer different models for different markets. If the company can find the right balance between competitive pricing, reliable technology, and useful features, it could attract buyers who are purchasing an EV for the first time, or those looking for an electric car that is practical, durable, and dependable for everyday use. Honda's master plan. Honda Zero is not just a plan to launch a new car. It is part of the company's long-term EV strategy. Over the coming years, Honda wants to expand the presence of its electric vehicles in different countries. To support this, the company is also working on new EV factories, modern manufacturing technologies, and a stronger battery supply chain. After all, if the battery supply is not stable, producing electric vehicles on a large scale will not be easy. Honda is not planning to stop with just one or two models. In the future, the company could introduce several new EVs designed for different needs and budgets. Major markets such as North America, Japan, and Europe are an important part of Honda's strategy. Since customer needs are different in each region, the company wants to develop products that match those markets. At the same time, Honda has also set a goal of reducing carbon emissions and becoming carbon neutral in the coming years. That is why the company continues to invest in new EV technology, battery research, and software development. However, the success of these plans will also depend on how quickly the market changes and how fast customers adopt electric vehicles. Looking ahead, the impact of the Honda Zero series may not be limited to Honda alone. It could also increase competition in the EV market. If more companies offer better technology at balanced prices, customers will ultimately benefit. At the same time, challenges such as charging infrastructure, battery costs, software updates, and growing competition will still remain. For now, it is fair to say that the Honda Zero series is an important step for the company, but its real success will only be decided after launch based on customer experience, pricing, reliability, and long-term performance. Now, the biggest question is for you. If Honda manages to find the right balance between reliable technology, better software, and practical pricing with its Zero Series EI, do you think it will be able to compete strongly with Tesla, BYD, and other major EV companies in the future? Or in such a fast-changing market, is having good technology alone no longer enough? Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and let us know your thoughts in the comments.